know if you know this, but, well, IKEA, their first New Zealand store is set to open in Auckland in Sylvia Park between November and December. And while shoppers are looking forward to its arrival, their parent company, Inca Investments, has quietly been expanding its local forestry footprint as part of their global sustainability strategy. Since 2021, Inca has purchased 25 properties, covering nearly 23,500 hectares of farmland and forestry after gaining approval from the Overseas Investment Office. One more application, I believe, is still under review. Now, earlier this year, the government announced a commitment to halt the locking up of high-quality farmland in carbon forest, but Federated Farmers says loopholes remain. Newly elected Fed Farms Meat and Wool Chair Richard Dawkins, along with tackling wilding pines, is also calling for urgent action on pests and weeds, saying they are costing the sector hundreds of millions each year and threatening its future. Central to the council's strategy is the Save Our Sheep campaign, which is pushing for tighter carbon credit restrictions, no pricing framework for ag emissions, and greater access for grazing on Crown and dock land. And Richard Dawkins joins me now. Good afternoon. Where are you, Richard? All that big lead up and I've lost him already. Hang on, let me just put you back on hold. This is what happens. I put on this nice little chat. Hello, Richard. You there, my friend? No, he's not there, Kelly. I'll let you get back to him. We'll find Richard. He might be in the back of the farm somewhere. I don't know what's going on. Before we get to him then, as I said at the beginning, I don't know if you guys knew. I did not realise how much IKEA has bought up in New Zealand. And in fact, I also did not know that they are the world's largest wood consumer. IKEA significantly impacts the world's forestry industry. Almost 60% of the products that are manufactured by IKEA are made of wood. I mean, that's why they're so popular, right? Flat pack here, flat pack there. Now, according to Earthsight, the organisation that monitors the environmental impact of businesses, IKEA uses 21 million cubic metres of logs every year. And that means that one tree is logged every second for an IKEA product. One's gone right now. One's just gone right now. One's just gone right now. Isn't that mind-blowing? I'm going to talk a little bit more about that because, look, I won't lie. I'm still going to go and have a look at IKEA. I was quite interested, and I did not know the backstory behind them, I have to say. Let's hope this phone line's working now. Federated Farmers Richard Dawkins should be on the line. Hello, Richard.
Yeah, how you doing, Leah?
Oh, good, mate. Don't know what happened there. Hey, look, I want to talk about wilding pines and other issues with you. But first of all, congrats on being the newly elected chair of Meat and Wool Industry Group for Fed Farmers. How long have you held this title?
Yeah, thanks very much, Leah. Look, it's a real privilege to be in the position. So a fortnight into the role, and boy, oh boy, it's she's been a fast start. I tell you, there's a lot of issues to address and a lot of relationships to build. And
tell you what, hit the ground running.
We're putting. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Richard, before we get into that though, can we have what's your background? You're a farmer. Your father was a farmer. What's the Dawkins history?
Yeah. Look, so I'm a fifth-generation farmer from Marlborough. My grandparents had a farm out in the Marlborough Sounds, out in Port Gore. But the year my father was born, they moved to the mainland, up the Waihopai Valley. That was in 1954, and we've been at a property called the Pyramid ever since.
Nice. Okay, let's talk about some of the issues here. Fed Farmers' goals. Can you tell us more about Save Our Sheep campaign? What are the outcomes that you're hoping to achieve here?
Yeah, look, the Meat and Wool Council's, our major issue is the loss of the sheep population in recent years. Now, it has been pointed out, the sheep population has declined in recent decades. It
Mm.
sort of peaked at around 80 million in the 80s, but those numbers were artificially inflated through government subsidies and incentives to run sheep. So now in 2025, we're in a place now where, that the flatter, low-lying, more fertile horticulture land, we've seen that land use change. We've seen the expansion of dairy farming. And what we've been left with was previously about 25 million sheep, and that was on that undulating, rolling and steeper country, which really was best land use. But in recent years, we've seen millions and millions of sheep, of capital stock, being displaced by carbon forestry. Now, we're big fans of best land use based on free markets. But what we're seeing is an artificial incentive there through carbon, leading to the loss of our industry, to be honest.
Yeah. We're going to get a bit more into that, Richard, but I also wanted to look at, because you placed pest and weed control also at the top of the agenda. What's the most, there's obviously a few of them, but what's the most urgent pest threat right now?
Oh, look, like you say, there's serious issues across the board with ungulates, deer, goats, tahr, wallabies as well. But look, in terms of weeds, wilding pines is the number one concern for the council. This is potentially $1 billion problem for our country, and that is absolutely no exaggeration. There was funding in previous years to fight the spread, but that sort of dried up. I think we've got about $12 million this year. But look, I've heard numbers as high as 50 million just to stop the spread, and that's not actually to eliminate the source of the seed. So look, there's hundreds of millions of dollar problem here.
If you mentioned, your deer and wallabies and wild pigs and stuff. I saw something, Rich. I did not know this. I was like, oh man, newborn lambs, are they being killed by wild pigs?
Yeah, pigs can have a go at newborn lambs, and look, it's pretty distressing when you're a passionate farmer and you go out and do your lambing beat, and they're getting eaten alive. And I just want to highlight. Doc, they budgeted $13 million for pest control last year, and Crown revenue was around $150 billion. So, as a percentage, Leah, that's there's a lot of zeros there. It's about 0.001% of revenue. So there's real room to do a bit more in that area, we feel.
Interesting you say that. And how do you collaborate? Who do you look to collaborate with? Doc obviously is a huge part of going forward.